Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to Talkin Vegas All Day with KA. I'm your host, KA, and on today's episode, I'm going to talk today about how to travel to Las Vegas, have a great time on a budget. You know, I get a lot of questions all the time, family and friends that are going out to Las Vegas for the first time, and they want to have a good time, but they're asking me, hey man, I'm on a tight budget. So how can I still have a good time, but also how can I save some money? So I'm going to dive into that. Now, before we get started, I have a question for all you out there, because honestly, everybody has their own system, tips and tricks. So if after you listen to this episode, if you have some ideas that maybe I didn't cover, something I didn't think about, please sure to comment on them. But before we get started, hit that like button, punch the subscribe notification, and hit that like bell so you can get updated when we drop new episodes each week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started today on Talkin Vegas All Day with KA.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now,
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night.
up in the
Let's go to Vegas. Let's get away.
I want to drop a couple things here in regards to this episode. First and foremost, obviously, if you have frequent flyer miles, free rooms at like a hotels.com, comp rooms, bonuses, always use them. I mean, that's free money right there, guys. So what we're looking at is if you're going to Vegas for the first time, don't have any of these perks, and then you're looking to get there the cheapest way possible, that's really what I'm looking for with this video, to help educate some people out there and just make sure they have a good time, but at the same time, save a couple bucks. So first and foremost, let's talk about when to book. So we're going to look at the planning phases. Look for the off times on when you're traveling. Generally, September, February, April, and September are your cheapest times. That's when prices on hotels, etc. tend to be down, as opposed to high volume, high price areas like March, July, and December. Also, when you go to Vegas, it's important to know, just like maybe someplace like Atlantic City for those of you on the East Coast, generally Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday tend to be the cheaper times. So even Thursday, sometimes depending on the week, tend to be cheaper. Obviously, Friday and Saturday are going to be your high volume, so the rooms are going to jack up a lot more. Flights tend to be a little bit more expensive in some areas. And just overall, while yes, you get maybe the full Vegas experience, you're going to be paying a lot more. So with all that in mind, let's kind of look at all the factors that go into planning. First off, how are you going to get there? Well, obviously, if you drive, if you're on the West Coast, it's going to be a lot cheaper driving from California, Arizona than maybe from the East Coast. A lot of times people, let's be honest, are coming in via airfare. When's the best time to get the lowest rates? Well, from what I've researched, tends to be Tuesdays are the best time to book. And generally, early morning flights or late night flights tend to be the cheapest. So if you don't mind getting up early, let's say like for us, we live hour and a half, 2 hours from BWI and also 2 hours from Philadelphia. So for us, we're looking at those two airports, and we don't mind getting up at 3 a.m., getting down there, getting maybe a 5:45, 6 a.m. flight out there so we get out there in time. Likewise, if we're working all day, we want to get like a Thursday night flight, we'll try to get like a 6, 7, even maybe 8 o'clock flight, and we've done as late as 9 o'clock to get out there. Whatever the cheapest flight is. And then with flights in general, when you're looking at where to book off of, obviously look at who you generally fly out with if you have frequent flyers. For us, it's Southwest. Generally, you want to price around. There's a lot of pricing websites out there, as you know. Some of the ones I really look for that really tend to help me out are Skipleg, maybe Skyscanner. I've used a lot. Use Southwest. We fly Southwest a lot. They tend to have really good fares. And, you know, even Kayak. These are just, again, I'm not promoting anybody. Those are where we tend to find the cheapest. Place like Skyscanner, even if you have a window of time you can get out there, they basically will name you where you're flying in and out of, and they'll try to give you the best rate. And they look at all the websites. So places like that generally have the best prices. If you're a little flexible, I would definitely recommend them. Once you're out there, where should you stay? Now, pro tip for me, being out there as much as I have been, if this is your first time, always stay on the Strip. you're going to have a better experience out there. I got to be honest with you. Maybe the strip's a little too much. I mean, places like Luxor, Excalibur, yeah, they're lower end casino and resorts, but they're cheaper. Even Circus. If you really want to get the old school Vegas, go downtown. Places like El Cortez, Golden Gate, the D can have really good deals as well. So shop around, know where you're looking at. Ideally, again, like I said, Friday and Saturday are going to be your highest price places. But if you're booking out ahead, those are sometimes your best days to book online. So if you have some time to book, look at that. Price points, the highest end generally is the Strip. Then downtown tends to be cheaper. And then sometimes, now not always, off Strip. That generally can be places like Red Rock tend to be a little higher out there in Summerlin, those areas. But off Strip, close to convention center, sometimes we'll have special deals. It just depends on what you're looking for. And then try to book 2 weeks out. That's another thing I did research, and I generally do 2 to 3 weeks out. That's when we find the best deals. What about sites? My best place to go, I've used hotels.com. I find good sites there. Skiplag tends to have some really good deals, although you have to get them early in the week. For last minute, Hotwire, when they have those hot rates, you can get some really good deals. A buddy of mine told me, now this is years ago, for 10 days, he got Harris for like $19 a night. Now, obviously, you're going to pay resort fees, but that's still a good deal. So look at that when you're planning. Try to figure out what your budget is. Sometimes, like for me, I like to stay early in the week at the cheapest places. And then if I'm going out, or if I'm there early in the week and I know like I want to stay at the Cosmo and I know that I can find a good deal on Wednesday at the Cosmo, maybe I'll stay 2 nights at a cheaper place, spend a night at the Cosmo, and then if I'm flying out Friday, go back to another place. Yeah, you're moving around a little bit, but if you really want to stay at a nicer hotel and experience that, sometimes that's something to take advantage of. Now, while you're out there, what are the best ways to get around? Focusing on the Strip, walking is going to be your cheapest way. I always say this, when you're going from the airport, Uber, the bus, and Lyft tend to be your cheaper options. Taxis tend to be higher, and sometimes they'll long haul you, meaning they'll take, while it's the shortest distance, it's the longest time-wise, so you're going to jack up rates. Same with the Strip, generally Uber, Lyft, anywhere you go. Now, if you're planning on going, let's say, Red Rock Canyon, or you want to go around, see Vegas, go down to Henderson, go to Boulder City, Hoover Dam, those areas, then it's time to look at maybe getting a rental car for a couple of days, at least 1 or 2 days. That's what I generally do. You don't have to get the whole time, and that can be pretty pricey in itself. So there's some days you want to look at, go ahead and get a rental car. When do you get a rental car? Where should you get a rental car? Generally 6 months out is ideal, but if you're just looking for just a cheap compact, you can get them anytime. Again, I try to get them when I book my hotel, because that's when I'm going to get the better deals. Off-site, off-airport places tend to generally be less. And this is another thing. So you see a really cheap place. I'm not going to name any names, but they have a really low rate, and you're like, ooh, I'm going to take that. Sometimes there are hidden costs too, so be aware of that. So sometimes sticking with a name brand off Strip or off site can be significantly cheaper as well, and that's generally what we do. Also, check your hotel you're staying at. Sometimes for guests, they have special deals, especially if you're a Players Club or Rewards Club, you can get some deals there too. Some places to get good car stuff. Hotwire always has had good ones. Sometimes directly from the site where you're renting from, they'll have coupons and special rates depending on when you go out. And AutoSlash. AutoSlash is a cool little site because you can go there and they'll keep track of your reservation as the prices drop. So you might see one, and then a week later or a couple of days later, there's a cheaper version. That's nice. If you sign up for that, they'll automatically track where you're going. Finally, kind of wrap up the episode with food and entertainment. Again, it goes back to Strips generally are going to be the most expensive, then downtown, then all Strip. Sites like Groupon and a couple other travel coupon sites, they'll have really good deals. We use them a lot. But generally, look for the specials. So if you want to go to a place, see if they have specials. If you want to go to a 5-star restaurant, see if what specials they're running that week, or if you can get like a free appetizer, free this and that, 50% off. You can sometimes save things. And some of these places have special happy hours, so always check that out. Also note, some of these places off Strip, you might say, well, I don't want to go off Strip. There's some world-class restaurants at bars, places like that are 20 to all the way up to 50% off, that are older chefs that maybe work these restaurants that have gone off. So really keep that in mind too. So if you're looking for Thai food, yeah, there's a great Thai restaurant at one of the Strip sites. But there could be even a better Thai restaurant 10 minutes down the road. Okay. So you want to look at those kind of things. Also, if you want to go see a show, maybe this is your first time you want to catch a Vegas show. There are ticket places all across town that have discounted tickets. Look them up. Sometimes Ticketmaster, StubHub will have certain things too. They tend to be cheaper than booking directly from the box office. Just depends on the show and the time of the day. If you're going out during the holidays or during one of the busy times, expect them to be jacked up. Now, also, let's talk about bars and taverns and casino bars. Generally, they all have happy hours. So if you want to drink on the cheap, look for the happy hours. And again, same thing like before, you're going to pay on the strip, off strip, a locals only bar. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Also, another tip, and some people do this, going to like a off-site liquor place that's a locals kind of your general liquor store and buying some stuff to take back to your room. You can do that, save a couple bucks, and I tend to do that. One of my favorite places downtown the strip that you can go to, right between Bally's and the Cromwell, is the Stage Door Casino and Bar. I mean, they have a great bar. It's cash only now, but you can drink really cheap there and have a good time. Finally, so when you're playing, just think of all these areas, all right? Always set a maximum limit. Like for me, I always do what I call the $1,000 challenge. If I'm going out for a week, I want to spend less than $1,000 on everything: food, airfare, travel, all that. That's always my challenge. So set a budget that doesn't handcuff you, allows you to have fun, experience Vegas, but that you're not going to go home and feel awful and then start stressing out. That's not what Vegas is about. Even if you're not a big gambler, like I'm not a huge gambler, I'll do it sometimes. Allow a little money for gambling. That's part of the Vegas experience. So always allow for that. Allow some days to pamper yourself. And what I mean by that is don't just go to McDonald's because it's the cheapest and this and that. Yeah, you're going to maybe have to do some of that. But if you really want to eat at that 5-star restaurant, plan ahead. Say, okay, on our last night, we're going to eat this 4 or 5-star restaurant. And knowing that, yeah, maybe one night I'm going to have to eat at this really, really nice, inexpensive place. It's still good, but it's going to be a lot cheaper. And yeah, it's just a hole in the wall place, but it's still going to be good. Guess what? You're going to save that money to go up there. That's just general common sense. But always treat yourself. So in closing, I hope this helps some people out there. I know for some, you might be listening to this right now and going, okay, you don't know, like this, I think you need to be looking here. And I want to know about that because I could maybe be saving myself even more money and saving my friends and family members that love to go out too, even more money. But for overall, this is what has worked for me. I want to hear what works for you guys. So please drop a comment, let me know. That's all the time we have here today on Talkin' Vegas All Day with KA. Hit that like button, click subscribe on your way out. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook so you can continue the conversation if you'd like. And again, guys, I hope everyone's doing well out there, staying safe. And thank you for stopping in and Talkin' Vegas All Day with KA.